To the man of self-knowledge, what the ignorant man thinks real, time, space, matter, etc., are non-existent. Just as in the eyes of a brave man there is no goblin, in the eyes of the wise man there is no world. But to the ignorant man, even the knower of truth is ignorant. So it always sounds a bit elitist to be talking about the ignorant man. But on the other hand, the ignorant man is going to think that the wise man is not only ignorant but probably mad. So time, space, matter, etc. are non-existent. Notions of an external world, notions of a personal ego wandering around in that external world, these are notions. Does a notion have existence? If you think about it, most people, or most of the great events in history, are shaped by ideas. Ideas of a master race, ideas of political utopia, ideas of salvation, ideas of sin. These are the things which create people's reality. These are the more obvious forms of belief, but also belief in more common notions, more commonly shared notions, which aren't part of some ideology. They belong to the same realm, ideas of time, space, matter, and so on, ideas of independently existing objects. So the brave man is one that faces up to his fears. The wise man is the one which acknowledges his ignorance. O Ram, do not get involved in notions of matter and mind, for they are false. Rest in your own self. It is consciousness alone which assumes these apparent forms, like the seed which grows into the diverse parts of the tree. When these objects are dropped, what remains is indescribable, for to call it consciousness is to limit it. If we say that consciousness is all there is, it doesn't seem very appealing somehow, does it? Consciousness. Okay, consciousness. Because we've got a feeling for the word. The very shape of the word itself invokes a feeling. So we shouldn't we shouldn't take this kind of statement on a conceptual level. All there is consciousness. What we have to do is look at what all there is. All there is what is apparent right now. All there is what that apparency is appearing within. And what is appearing in is your awareness, your consciousness. Look into this. Turn your attention to it. Turn your attention to what is looking. Turn the attention to itself. This is what there is. This is consciousness. It is infinite. It is untouched by sorrow. It is calm. It is untouched by sorrow and desire. It is free from attraction and aversion. It's indescribable. Matter and mind are identical, and both are false. Some people might think that some kind of idealistic, some kind of philosophy of idealism is being espoused here. But it's not. Because idealism depends on the mind, and we're not interested in the mind. We're not interested in this distinction between mind, body and world. Because the mind, body and world are just limited ways of describing everything that is going on. The field of experiencing. This is what is going on. Observe it as such, just as we talk about all the experiences we have when we're sleeping. We describe it by the one word, dream. All of this is the field of experiencing. See it as that one thing, just as we see all the multifaceted and various experiences that we have in a dream. We call it all just that one word, dream. This is all the field of experiencing. See it, regard it as such, and don't get caught up in the reality of objects, or the apparent reality of objects. It's like me saying, well, I dreamt last night I had a cat, and then I start insisting that that cat was real. It was very real to me at the time when I was caught up within the parameters of the dream. The cat is very real. Actually, what I did dream about was that I'd forgotten to hand in an assignment. I dreamt that I was still a student. I even woke up and I was worried about this assignment. I went back into the dream and I asked somebody in the dream, am I a student? And she said yes. So I was really convinced I was a student that had missed a deadline. Now if I started insisting to you that I am a student and I've missed a deadline, well, that's absurd. I'm not a student and there was no deadline hanging over me. But for a while I was convinced I was. If I carried on thinking I was a student and that I had a deadline, then something would be seriously wrong. And this is the situation we're in. Rather than understanding all of this, what's going on, what we call going on outside and what we call going on inside, that's the fundamental division we make, don't we? There's stuff going on in here, there's stuff going on out there. We make that division. But it's all the field of experiencing. Let's just call it the field of experiencing. And what else is there? Matter and mind are identical and both are false. You are deluded by this false appearance. Self-knowledge will dispel this delusion. Both self-knowledge and the cessation of world appearance are the characteristics of wisdom, Bodham, or awakening. The ego sense, which arises in the absence of the extinction of desire, is conducive to sorrow. Right from the roots, the entire tree with all its branches, leaves, flowers and fruits is but one and the same tree. In the same way, consciousness alone is all, indivisible and unmodified. Just as ghee, by its very nature, hardens like stone when frozen, consciousness freezes into matter. Freezes is in inverted commas here. It doesn't really freeze. However, in the infinite and unmodified or unconditioned consciousness, such modification is impossible. The conditioning is but a false notion. When it's a notion, notions aren't true or false. They're simply notions, but they've got no essence to them, no essence. Therefore it melts away in the heart of one who has self-knowledge and who's freed from delusion and ego sense. The notional nature of things becomes apparent. What we thought of as physical melts away. And there's simply the dream or the field of experiencing.